Hi, and welcome to Happy Fisherman Adventures.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.
Well, today's episode is actually from yesterday, Wednesday, the 11th of June. We launched at Queenscliff. We went with our friends Sev and Ovi. We tried for King George whiting at Queenscliff. We tried for King George whiting at St Leonards. And then we did a big circle and went to Mud Island, and we ended up catching some squid. Luckily, we ended up having puppy sitters. And we managed to squeeze some fishing in.
Yeah, with work and all the other bits and pieces, it's just hard. And the weather, it's hard to actually manage to go fishing. So we had, as Mimo said, our puppy sitters. So we left Chiquita with puppies home. And it was actually a really good day. So let's watch the first video. It is 11th of June and we have Queenscliff launching with our friends Sev and Ovi. Lately, it's not easy for us to find time to go fishing, but we managed to find ourselves puppy sitters. So Chiquita, Molly and Missy are spending time with Brenda and Warren, while we're gonna try to get some squid, King George whiting or gummy or anything. Just before you could see, we had on display some jigs, some squid jigs from Thailand that Sev brought, so we're gonna give them a try today. Our plan today was to start at Queenscliff grass beds for some big King George whiting. Then, if no go, we're gonna go to St Leonards, and just before tide change, we wanna be at Mud Island. So here we go. We are on our way, and the grass beds are not far. They're only about half a kilometer to the left towards Swan Bay, and we already got our first fish. Sev managed to get us a puffer fish, but then she made up. She actually got us our first King George whiting. Well, that was promising, and we stayed there for about 20 minutes before we got our second King George whiting. Well, Sev again. The fish here was big, but there was not many around, so we decided we're gonna go and try our spot at St Leonards. On the way there, you can imagine, Sev had to make a statement. As you can see, we started the day with having fun. So, as we got to St Leonards, there was quite a few boats around. Here, we made a few moves, we anchored a few times, and yes, we managed a couple King George whiting, but again, it was too slow. They were decent size, nothing big, so we didn't stay too long. Compared to Queenscliff, this fish here liked more the Tinganosta rig than the actual Paternoster. Sev in Queenscliff used Paternoster, like she's using here, but the fish here liked the Tinganosta better. Saying that, not long after, Ovi with his homemade rig managed to get another one. Well, we tried, we got few, but we didn't want to waste too much time. So we were on our way to Mud Island, and this time we were between the island and the mussel farm trying for some squid. Before you realize, we were on. Squid somehow this year was very slow. From the beginning of 2025 until now, squid was very patchy. Few there, few on another place, so you go home with 4, 6, it was not many, not like we used to. Normally you get out, you get your 10 or 20, depends how many people on the boat, and that was easy. Well, they finally start, so at Mud Island, all around the island, there's plenty squid. And the banana jig again done most of the damage.
Well, as you can see, Mud Island did not disappoint with the squid. We actually ended up catching one after another, and the best color was the banana jig, the green and yellow.
Even Brett reads when he goes to Mud Island, apparently that's his favorite jig. It's a yellow and green, 2.5, maybe size 3 max. Don't go any further than that. And we're fishing just here, anything between 4 to 6 meters depth. We're between the island and the mussel farm.
Yeah.
So let's watch the next video. Well, I had to take a phone call, and in the meantime, Mima was smashing them. As I mentioned before, the green banana jig, it just done the damage. We had another couple jigs out there, and the next best one was a pink jig. But these green and yellow around here, doesn't matter, clicks, Shimano, you name it, they actually work really, really well. Don't ask me why, I have no explanation, but the green and yellow around the Mud Island is the way to go. As we mentioned at the beginning, we had on display some jigs from Thailand. And those jigs did look alright. Some of them were actually different, but Sev was struggling. One thing I have to mention, on my boat, 4 people, it's already a crowd. So Ovi was sitting back, he wasn't fishing, he was actually having the landing net duty. So he was landing them, putting them on the table, I would give him a karate chop, and so on. It was like a production line. So far, 9 out of 10 squid, it was the green and yellow jig. We got a couple on the pink, but green and yellow was working great. So far, Sev was not successful at all, but very quick she was on. So this time on the pink jig. One thing, you have to make sure that once you bring the squid close to the boat and the squid is in the net, you need to open the bail and let the actual line loose. Otherwise, you're gonna just rip the squid out of the net and put it back in the water. As we landed this one, Sev's other rod with the pink jig went off, so she was in the action again. Today my spot between the actual island and the mussel farm worked really well. We are drifting between 3 to 6 meters of water, and the water so clean that you can actually see the grass patches. So just drift over those grass patches, there must be squid around. There was plenty squid today, and there is going to be plenty more all through winter time. Well, we managed few squid, so now it was time to go and wait for the tide change at 11 meter depth and try for a gummy. Sev was desperate to get her first gummy, so off we go.
Well, it was time for us to move and try to get some gummy.
Well, we tried, but unfortunately, banjos, stingrays, you name it, it was unreal. And saying that, on our underwater footage, when we watched it, all we've seen is leather jackets, we seen tons of Tommy Ruffs. We didn't catch one yakka, we didn't catch one slimy mackerel, we didn't catch one single garfish.
Nothing.
Compared to just last week, where we had hundreds of thousands of garfish just around the boat. Yep. We had heaps of yakkas, slimies and that. So we tried hard, but then...
Well, we ended up going back to Queenscliff and we managed to get some King George whiting.
Well, we gave up and we got there. It was just before the sunset.
Yep.
We got some nice big-sized King George whiting, and I can tell you it was freezing.
Let's watch the next video.
As we got to our Gummy spot, I set up the cameras, I put our underwater camera down, and we were ready for action. first thing happened, Sav was in action. But we knew this is not a gummy. This was pulling like a Russian submarine. He was going crazy. I actually had a couple of my big rods here, and this one that we catch tuna with ease and that, it was going bananas. So after a while, Mima took over. We tried, but the stingray just kept going and going and going. Eventually it went over a rock or something because the braid was clean cut. Anyway, we got a snippet of that fish on our underwater camera and off she goes. But then, not long after, Sav's on again. At very first, it felt like a gummy. He took off, he was shaking, he was smacking with the tail the leader, so it just kept going. But unfortunately, this was another stingray. It took us all around the boat, and this time on my little snapper rod. Somehow, Sav was in control, but this fish just kept moving from left to right. Then, after about 20 minutes fight, we had it under the boat, we managed to lift it up, I grabbed the leader and I let this fish free. They are actually a pretty fish, but you do have to watch that tail. If that barb gets ya, it hurts like hell. Anyway, on our sea view gadget we could see that there is nothing under but millions of leather jackets, Tommy Ruff. Strange enough, there was no yuccas, no slimy mackerel, no garfish, so it was time to go back to Queenscliff and try for some King George. As we got there, Ovi was on our first fish, but this one was a red mullet. So we put that one back, and then not long after we managed to get our first King George. Here the King George is actually quite stocky. It's a big fish. We're actually not far from the ferry. You can actually see the ferry in the background, and we are fishing in about 3 to 5 meters depth. Then as the sun went down, the fish came on. So Ovi was on again. Not long after, I got another one, and every single fish was stocky. So about 38 centimeters, and the biggest one we had was about 42. Here you can see I got my fish on Tinganosta rig, but Ovi was fishing with the Paternoster rig, and that one was actually more successful. The action was solid, but I have to be honest, it was freezing. It was cold as. So we already had about a dozen fish. We were already thinking, should we pack up and go home now? So we put another 20 minutes, it was already dark, so Sav managed a couple more, and yeah, we were happy. All in all, it was a good day and a great adventure.
Well, and now something very different. Every time we go away, actually, we love doing something different. It's either mushroom hunting or Pippies hunting.
Well, it's lots of fun. And we're showing you this video today for a reason. There is heaps of Pippies around, from Malakuta, 90 Mile Beach, Venice Bay, all the way Portland, Bridgewater, Nelson, you name it, Rob. But there is an issue at the moment. We don't know, and we don't want to put a finger on it. Apparently cold water or green algae. Goulburn in South Australia, it's the capital city of Pippies, and they got a bit of a problem at the moment. But let's first watch the first video. Well, this adventure starts with Jerry Tancui Tancui, a bit of a Slovakian dance. Well, today we are Pippy hunting. To get to this spot, sometimes it's not easy, and there is quite a few dunes to walk, so it's not an easy access. All the easy access like Venus Bay and all the other stuff, they got explored, so there is no more Pippies over there. In this video, we actually done the miles, we got to the beach, and we were hoping for the best. Pippies or no Pippies, we didn't care. The scenery, the actual day out, even Chiquita absolutely loved it. So have a look at this. Chiquita was so proud to be here, she enjoyed every moment. Just make sure that if you do take your dog to the beaches like this, make sure you got plenty of drinking water for them. Well, me and Chiquita were flying around, but we were always waiting for someone. There is no words to explain how happy Chiquita was, running around, running in the water. She was over the moon. And then we finally found some shells. That was promising. To find Pippies, all you have to do is get in the water a little bit up to your knees and do some twist again, I suppose. And yeah, a bit of dancing, and underneath your feet you just have to feel if there is any shells. You may have to move around as we did, so we did about a couple 100 meters so far and we found none. But then slowly we found a spot where it was much more promising, and in no time we stumbled over a nest of really nice Pippies, really big Pippies. Mima was first to find them, and as you can see, they were not really in the water, they were on the edge. The tide was coming in as well, so we did have to hurry up if we wanted to grab some. Normally, when you find one, there would be plenty more in that area, so we were exploring this area to the max. About 10 meters away, Jerry managed to find another nest and found quite a few as well, so it was promising. As we mentioned before, Pippies or no Pippies, have a look at this scenery, just magnificent.
Well, as you can see, it's a lots of fun, and even Chiquita loves it.
And Jerry, he even went all four up, but he wouldn't let him go. He was holding on to him. It is a family thing. It is great to get kids involved, dancing, doing the twist. Anyway, I said before, from Malakuta all the way to Adelaide, along the beach. Just try, if you find them, you'll find heaps. You're gonna have lots of fun. So enjoy the next video. Well, here we are up to good start. Make sure you do have a clean water in the bucket, and you need to actually rinse the Pippies. So you put all the Pippies in that clean water, and a few times you actually need to change the water as the Pippies will spit all the sand. Here you can see someone had the time of her life. Also, we were not alone. We had heaps of birds around. We do have to appreciate how blessed we are to have these kind of places all around us. While Mim and Jerry were getting the Pippies at that spot, me and Chiquita were exploring everything around. Then me and Chiquita would grab a bucket and go and grab all the Pippies that Mima and Jerry collected and bring it out. Don't forget, there is a 5 liter per person limit. Now have a look at Mima, take a closer look. Bang! Up it goes the hat. There was lots of funny moments. Actually, a few times we just seen them disappear, Mima and Jerry. And look at this, a really nice collection. There is many ways to collect pippies with a rake and all sorts of things. But dancing in the sand, it's fun, it's actually really good exercise, and yeah, you cop some really nice waves behind your ear. Jerry found a trick how to get them easy, but every time a good wave came, it was all for up. Also, the way to collect them, it was straight to put them in the shirt. And a few times the wave would smack Jerry, but he would not let go of the shirt. So yeah, it was fun to watch. And then, as you can see here, there was quite few fish around. As we were digging the sand, yellow-eyed mullet came to see what's going on. Well, if you think this was a funny moment, have a look at the next shot. No matter how heavy you are, you still get flattened. But Jerry still didn't let go of his collection. It was amazing how many we found in just this one spot. So we didn't have to look for another spot. We actually managed our limit all in this area. The very first time we picked up some pippies, we actually picked them up to have obviously fresh bait for King George whiting. But our very dear friend Sam came once over and he actually convinced us to put some on the barbecue and try. So what we did, we put it on the barbecue. Once it got hot, the Pippie opened up, put some salt and pepper, and that's it. Just eat it like that. It was amazing. We were impressed. So now they're part of our menu. Yeah, I didn't let them do all the work. I did some too, so I got maybe half a dozen as well. Once the tide came in, you need long hands to actually reach them. The length of my hands, I could actually pick them up in Queensland. I did mention before that you need to change the wood a few times as they spit all the sand out and they clean themselves. So it was time to pack up and go back. At the beginning, it's easy, but it's a long way. And walking up these dunes, it's not easy. So our dancing queen actually slowed down a little bit. On our way back, we met a family that had maybe the same idea, and Chiquita had to go and say hi to everyone. At first, I was alright. I had one bucket, but then somehow I ended up with 2 buckets. Also, the only one that could keep up with me, it was Chiquita. All in all, it's an amazing adventure and a great fun. So, yep, if you go out there, do some dancing, and maybe you're lucky and get some pippies. Well, guys, just before we go, it's worth to mention there is a community event happening, and it's called Lord of Snapper. It's a competition and the comp's gonna be in July. So the whole month of July, you get to fish and there is lots of prizes, 20+K. I don't know the rules. I don't know how to enter yet. I heard about it. So if you wanna know more about it, just Google it up or go to Facebook. Check out Reedy's Rigs and Brett Reeds. I've seen some bits and pieces there, but it just seems to be a challenging time because there is snapper in July, so let's see who's gonna actually be the lucky winner, I suppose. Again, thanks for your support, guys, to purchase our t-shirts, our hoodies, our anything. Thank you, Hips.
And once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, make a comment, and we will see you next week.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish. And I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman. And I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.